Good morning. Happy Thursday. This is Kyler Collom here again. I'm taking over for Jonathan this week, I guess. He's rocking the production booth again. Today, though, welcome back to Minot Talk. I don't think I said that. I am joined today by the Minot Parks District Executive Director, Elly, Deslauriers, and the Director of Operations, Jared Olson. Thank you guys for coming on. I'm excited to have you on today. I think we're going to have some really fun stuff to talk about. You guys have a big proposal coming up this June on the sales tax amendment to your guys' park district. We also have a lot of updates from the park district coming up this summer too. So really exciting to have you guys on. I think we're going to have some great stuff to talk about. Saw you guys earlier this week, so I think it's going to be fun to be able to build off of that. Do you guys, we'll just start here. What is your big expectation for this summer? Not even looking at the sales tax proposal, just what are some big plans for this summer for you guys?
Yeah, it's an exciting summer at the Minot Park District. One of the biggest things is the fact that the Roosevelt Pool is opening back up.
Gosh.
It was hard to have a year without that. Jared Olson, our Director of Operations, as you said here, is probably a little bit better of a clear picture of that.
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting. Again, with unfortunate closing last year, we were able to step up our pool filtration project. Got that moving a little bit earlier than anticipated. And actually, this morning, all the companies are here. We're firing up the filtration system, making sure staff knows how to run everything. So by the end of the day, we should have a good idea how the new filtration system is working, and then we're getting ready to hopefully open on June 5th.
That's exciting. June 5th is going to be the opening day for Roosevelt Park Pool. Obviously, there's some construction going on in the area. What should people expect with that?
Yeah, again, we're working through, in conjunction with MI7 and MI6B. They're working hard to get everything buttoned up so the public has a safe way in and into the pool and out of the pool. Right now, if you looked at it, you'd be like, there's no way, it's going to be ready. But, again, they're working on doing a lot of grading, getting ready for pavement, concrete work. So, again, coming in the old back entrance to Roosevelt off 8th and Central, they'll have a roadway in. It'll take you around the pool to the pickleball courts, kind of through where the new north part of the park will be.
Sure.
It'll all be kind of a one-way loop.
Sure.
But again, by June 5th, they should have everything buttoned up and we'll be ready to go to the public.
That's exciting. That's like 3 weeks away.
It's crazy.
Yes.
We're right here now.
Yep.
And as we've seen this week's spring, I think, is finally officially here now. It's kind of halfway deciding to rain, but it doesn't know if it wants to or not.
Correct, yes.
We'll hopefully get some more of that coming up, maybe today, but back to the pool before we get off of that. You said that the regular entrance will be open for the pool? Okay, perfect.
Yep, you'll come in off 8th Street and connect into Central Avenue like you used to off the backside. Just won't come in off Central anymore, from downtown, because that's blocked off with the MI6B construction.
Awesome.
Flood construction.
Totally fair. There's a lot of that going on still, and that MI6 is going to be huge. MI7, which you guys have so much you have to deal with right now, is a massive undertaking going across pretty much, the whole, across the rivers part of the zoo is effectively moved at this point.
Yes. Yep.
And if I'm correct, that won't be coming back, right?
No, that will not. So, what our old north side of the zoo now will be shifted over to what used to be our main lawn of Roosevelt Park. And, those construction efforts have started on exhibits and, everything there. So, again, it's going to be another full summer of construction on the main lawn area, and, probably within 18 months, hopefully we'll have all exhibits done, and we'll be transitioning to getting ready to open what we'll call the new part to the zoo.
That's exciting. And are all the animals still there and available to be seen for everyone that wants to come visit the zoo this summer?
Well, obviously the ones on the north side were dispositioned.
Yeah.
But we on the south side, we'll have a full run of animals again.
Good.
Again, they don't leave in the winter. We maintain them. Year round. Our staff. Every 7 days a week, holidays, they're there taking care of the animals. So again, the south side is fully ready and
that's exciting.
Going strong right now.
When do the summer hours for the zoo start up?
We're modified till 6 p.m. now.
Sure.
June 1, we go till 8 p.m.
Okay, perfect.
So we went from winter hours, now we're to modified spring hours, and then in June we'll go to 8 p.m. closing.
Perfect. That's exciting, folks. If you're out there want to check out the zoo, make sure you check it out this summer. Going to be a lot of fun stuff to look at. And also this summer, June's a busy month.
It is a busy month, for sure, yes.
First, the hours change. The 5th, the pool's supposed to open. And then on the 9th, we have a big election coming up.
Correct, yes.
And Elly, I think you have some information on a sales tax proposal from you guys.
Yes, I do. Thank you for that. So as people may remember, in 2025, we brought a similar proposal to the citizens of Minot. That included a turf facility. That failed by 25 votes on June 3rd of 2025. So here we are in May of 2026 with a half cent on the ballot again. This time around, we are really truly focusing on the maintenance of our facilities.
Perfect.
And also providing that property tax relief. And how are we going to do that? Right now, the Minot Park District operates on 38 mills.
Okay.
With this proposal, we will be capping ourselves at 26 mills.
Sure.
So that's a difference of about 12 mills there. So the best way to explain that is those 12 mills go into a lockbox that we can't touch.
Sure.
For 20 years. There is a lot of questions around that 20-year mark and why that was put into place. And truly that was put into place because at that time, the city council, whoever's on the council at that time, would have the opportunity to reallocate those funds.
Sure. So not just for the park board, it could actually end up going into the city council too at that stage.
Correct.
Sure.
Yes. So that cap was put into place. So if we were have to go back to property tax, we would have that ability to do so.
Sure.
Our goal as the Minot Park Board is actually to take that 12 mills and continue notching that down as sales tax continues to be strong.
Because if I'm not mistaken, does Williston's Park District operate solely off of sales tax?
Correct. Yep. They're on a full 1% sales tax, no property tax.
So there is an exhibit in the state.
There is.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. And if you have been to Williston or you follow them on social media, they are doing it and they're doing it very successfully.
They've been having a lot of successes over the past year or so here. I mean, they're getting the Chick-fil-A, of course. That's
right? Yeah. I mean, what more do you need?
You guys aren't associated with that. You see it, and it just keeps stacking up for Williston.
It is, yeah.
And so looking at the sales tax, it's going to be 0.5%, and you guys estimate roughly that's going to be about $6.5 million in yearly revenue for it.
Yep.
And your main focus is going to be on maintenance and getting things up to date. You guys have a list of things, right?
We do. Yeah. We have a full list. And that is just so people know they can go to minotparks.com/sales tax.
Perfect.
To get all that information. They can see the presentation we've been doing around town, our fact sheet, that full list of maintenance items. And it's a long list, and it's not necessarily the things you invite people for a ribbon cutting for.
Sure. Yeah.
Some of them, yes, some of them, no. I'll take the auditorium, for example. A lot of those things are, you look at sanitary sewer for one of them.
Sure.
We don't really invite the mayor to come do a speech when that project gets done, but
lo and behold.
but it's a project that clearly is very important. So that's a big part of this conversation, as well as, we have our fields over at the Shields complex. We've been able to get that concession stand done with the locker rooms, and it's beautiful with the turf.
Oh, for sure.
Part of that long-term maintenance there is replacing that turf. But you do walk down that way, and we host larger tournaments for our community in conjunction with our, partner user groups.
Yeah.
Those fields down on the other end, across from our Redeemer School, are in rough shape, and it becomes even a safety issue. We've talked about a lot. If Susie's going to catch a fly ball on first base on field number 5, I want Susie to worry about catching that ball. I don't want her worrying about rolling her ankle or worse.
Yeah.
Those are the realistic conversations that we're having within the park district, and as everybody knows, those larger projects are not getting any cheaper.
Oh, without a doubt. Inflation's been hitting across the board right now.
Right, yes.
That's something I'm sure you guys have to help build into. But on top of that, we have, I think it's the safety issues is a really interesting point you make. Because not only youth softball, there's adult softball that goes on there all year long. You don't want a 40-year-old that's out there playing rec league softball, blowing out their Achilles or something. That's worst case scenario. And so just getting those graded out better would be a massive improvement. Obviously, you guys have made some big strides with the North Hill complex too up here. And I think one other thing I saw that you mentioned was going to be some maybe updates to Corbett Field.
Yes. So another big part of this conversation is accessibility. Accessibility and maintenance to me are one and the same in our line of work. And at Corbett Field, it's a gorgeous historic field. But unfortunately, when that was built, accessibility accessibility wasn't a big topic.
For sure.
So right now, if you are on the third base side watching a game, you actually have to leave that facility, go around the front to use the restroom.
Really?
Because that's how limited it is.
Sure.
And with that, it is a big concrete grandstand.
Yeah.
So refurbishing it certainly has its challenges, and
There's limitations that will come up.
yes, another big ticket item. But with Prairie Grit adaptive sports coming online, it has really opened our eyes
Sure.
to not only why we need to do things, but how we can do these
Sure.
things. And so that's been a big part of that conversation.
So you guys have been partnered up with them over the last how long now?
Man, I want to
If you know off
say
the top of your head, even
10 years.
Okay, perfect. Because they do a lot of great work here in town.
They do amazing work.
fantastic.
Yes.
So back to Corbett Field, what are some of the planned refurbishments to come for it? Because I assume of tear down and rebuild isn't plan A on that.
It is not. That was a conversation in planning a few years ago, but we really want to keep the bones of that facility
Sure.
and the historic value of that facility. Restrooms are a big part of that. We would look to do one on the first base and the third base side.
Perfect.
And then it's actually retrofitting that grandstand in order to make those steps accessible. If anybody's been on that step, mobility issues or not, they are difficult steps.
Definitely.
And making sure that the grade is right to have a ramp on to that
Sure.
facility. And so that's all under that umbrella. New concession stand space. We've researched buildings that, could we put a prefabricated building on it that would have the concessions, restrooms? Is that the most cost-effective way to do
Sure.
it? And make sure that it fits the needs of that facility.
That's fair. That's fair. I guess, would you have to do the construction over the winter for that? Or would that have to go during the summer? This is probably into the weeds a little bit here.
But it's not, but it's part of the conversation.
Yeah, I mean, you would more than likely have to phase, if you're doing everything, grandstand remodel, restrooms, concessions, things like that, you'd definitely have to phase it. Because, ball starts here in March. Minot State will start
Exactly.
playing home games in March. So we would look more than likely to, okay, we're done the second week of August. The day after, construction would start.
That's fair.
If you use prefabricated buildings, you might be able to do some of that in the spring because, again, once you have all the underground hookups that are there,
Yep.
Now you just drop the building, do the connections, and you're
In theory, good to go.
In theory, it sounds easy. We're going to get that out of the way. But, so there is things you might be able to do during a season,
Yep.
but the majority of the work would have to be in the fall shoulder season and maybe before we start in the spring.
That's fair. Because, that was my kind of thought with that was there's a lot of baseball that goes on there and
There
softball
is.
during the spring and summertime. And obviously the Shields complex is fantastic, but if that were to have to get moved, would the Shields complex be the first spot for it? Or
Well, again, for softball and baseball, they're different
Yeah.
length fields.
that's
Yeah.
true. Yes, that's fair.
we
Yep.
do have, our Hoven complex. You have the two smaller fields, but you have two regulation fields
Sure.
also. So that could be an option. That would, in our system, that would be the first look if the, I'll call it varsity level games.
Sure.
Legion games would need
Yep.
to be moved. That would be Hoven would be the location for us.
That's fair.
But then with all the youth activity at Hoven,
There's a whole different.
It would be another.
Yeah.
It'd be an interesting schedule.
It would. It'd be very strategic with our user groups and sitting down and attempting to map that out.
Plan A wouldn't have to take place over the summer.
Right. Yes.
Be far easier if we could just avoid that side.
Yeah.
That's totally fair. What are a couple other big projects that you're kind of looking forward to this summer? Or maybe not even this summer, but if that sales tax proposal were to get passed, we'll start there.
Yeah, there's a full list, but if we're at Corbett, we can go right across the way to the Roosevelt Park Zoo. Obviously, construction is not new to that facility, but when we look at that, the bear exhibit has been on the top of our list for a very long time. Due to other priorities and needs, it's gotten pushed back, but that's another one that we're taking a really hard look at is the bear
Gotcha.
exhibit. And then you look at, even our trail system right now, Woodland Trail is one of our most used trails within our system. That's in need of some backfill as well. So we're looking at that. And overall, we would like to do a field analysis of all of our fields. Soccer complex, our soccer program in Minot is bursting at the seams.
Oh, it is. It's incredible how busy it can get up on North Hill there sometimes.
Yeah. Yes. So looking and working with that group, and, we are aware that that group is looking to build its own facility, and we have open and great conversations with them about that. But we know that Optimus is going to be their home for outdoor fields for a long time. So looking at what improvements can be done there, if there's expansion that is possible as well.
That's fair. And I guess I always loved the bear exhibit growing up. So
Yeah.
obviously things have changed, but I always loved that you could feed them back in the day.
Right.
But
Changed up a little bit for
Yes,
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were right there.
You're right.
What would the big picture project for that look like, kind of in the long term? If you could have it in a perfect world, what would
Yeah.
that exhibit kind of look like?
You want to take that one?
Well, again, I don't know if I can get into the technical
That's-
piece of this,
yeah,
but
yeah, big picture
again,
kinda.
with our accreditation process with AZA, that's been a note for the past 2 to 3 accreditations. Looking through black bars, you like if you look at the tiger exhibit, the leopard, the lion, again, the netting and the mesh, it almost blends in. So
Yeah.
at times it doesn't look like there's a barrier.
For sure.
And you want to give them areas where they can get more into a natural habitat, so they're not fully on display all the time. So you have to make it as realistic for them as their natural habitat for us as people to come and watch them as well.
Sure.
So again, a big concrete area isn't what it as it was in 1970.
Yeah.
It's not what it is
Yeah.
now.
That's fair.
And it's a lot. They do a lot of great work designing, and there's mock-ups and things like that right
Yeah.
now. But again, it's just trying to make it more natural for the animals and for us to be able to watch the animals.
That's fair. I love that kind of concept for it. I think that'll be a great project when it finally gets realized there. Then one other really interesting thing I saw you guys had on your capital improvement plan thing here was the gopher habitat for the North Hill complex.
Yes.
How is that going to play out?
That is yet to be determined. But it's a struggle for sure.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's a new conversation for anybody on North Hill and Minot,
Yeah.
but it's a major issue.
Yeah.
That we hold our adult leagues there, and then when our bigger tournaments come in, we are using that facility.
Sure.
And so trying to figure out how we can combat that a little bit is a huge item on our plate, once again, for safety of everybody out there using that
You
facility.
want to be running in the outfield and stepping into a gopher
No,
hole. Yeah.
and it's an intense amount that we have up there.
I believe. Well, yeah, I used to work at the airport, and in spring, like right now, probably this time of year, I don't mean to be morbid, but it's incredible how many dead gophers you see lying
Yeah.
on the road
Yeah.
that people end up running over, and that's not even a dent in the population. out there.
Correct.
It's incredible, the just sheer amount that you kind of
Yep.
see over there.
For sure.
On top of that, then. I also noticed the roof replacement for the Surse Valley Golf Course.
Yep.
That's interesting.
Yep.
That I think that'll be a good kind of update for that.
Yes. Yeah. And, roof replacements, once again, aren't super exciting, but for the bones of these facilities, pretty important.
And that's kind of where I was going for.
Yeah.
You see a lot of those kind of things
Yes.
on your guys' list here.
Yeah.
It's things that just, they need to happen at a certain point. You can't put them off forever.
Correct.
And you have to get these things updated.
Yeah.
And so when you're going and looking at the big picture of the proposal again, you're looking to say people are going to be saving money through property tax relief.
Correct.
And you're looking at roughly I believe this is right, in a $250,000 home, thanks to that, you'd be saving roughly $155 there,
Correct.
right?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. I'm looking at the right thing.
Yeah, no, you are spot on. Yes.
Perfect. And would you kind of, with that 20-year extension, in that next 20 years, this is, again, very big picture,
Yeah.
not committing, but would you like to be able to transition fully off of that property tax mill levy in the next 20 years, if possible?
You mean to go to a full 1%?
Yes, yeah.
I think that it could be a part of the conversation
Mm-hmm.
for sure. Obviously, there's a lot of people who would have to weigh in on that.
Yeah.
I would never say never on it.
That's
I
fair.
mean, it's a model that's been done. Obviously, we talked about Williston.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I think that it would be a part of a conversation if we get there.
That's awesome. Then my one other one that I just kind of wanted to touch on, just because it is kind of an iconic part of Minot. It's been here for so long, but it doesn't nearly get the same amount of, whatever it might be as it used to, and that's the auditorium. Do you get what are some of your guys' plans for that going forward?
Yeah, and I appreciate you bringing that up. That's an interesting note, because some people may know, some people not know, that Minot Parks and Rec were separate entities.
Yes.
Rec was under the city of Minot. We were our own, and we combined in 2019 timeframe. So with that, we took on the auditorium, Cameron Indoor, the North Hill Complex, and the Shields Complex. All great facilities with great bones that, because of budgeting, come with deferred maintenance. That's just the reality of the conversation. But I'm extremely happy with the auditorium is busy. And, the general public may not know that because they may be going only for an event here or there.
Sure.
But even for us to put on our own programming, we have to get that in well in advance.
Fair.
So it is well used. There are things that need to be worked on.
That's fair.
You talk about another roof that needs replacing. The sanitary sewer. Once again, I'm not going to go into detail. I'm going to need you to trust me on this one.
We'll leave it at the surface level. We can assume the rest from there.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's probably the best way to go. And then heating and cooling is a big one as well.
Sure.
And Jared, I'm going to have him talk a little bit more about the technical part of that, because he's the guy.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the facility was in the 1950s construction.
Yeah.
There's electric heat, there's boilers, there's rooftop units. So, I mean, it's trying to combine 3 to 4 different types of heating and cooling elements to make that building function. And it's not the same expertise when things need to get worked on. There's probably 3 to 4 different companies that we have to come in if we're having an issue to identify what the problem is. And again, to try to make that all one type of system, that is a massive project. So
that's a lot of heavy lifting.
Again, it's for a 1950s construction, we're hanging on. But at some point we're gonna have to do the major overhaul of our heating and cooling system, because right now we're like, okay, in the last month, do you turn off the boiler and switch to the cooling tower for air conditioning? Well, I don't know, because we've had some nights below freezing up to 2 weeks ago. So it's a balancing act, because once you turn the boilers off, it's not as easy as just turning it back on for the heat that part of the building. So it's a balancing act, and staff does a great job. Managing it.
That's fair.
At some point, it's going to need the whole thing redone.
Going to need a top-down kind of overhaul on it at some stage. For sure.
And that's part of the conversation on a lot of these things is, we are a group that I truly believe, and our board are very fiscally responsible. So we do fixes where you can do fixes, but essentially sometimes those end up being Band-Aids, and you can only put on so many Band-Aids before a complete replacement needs to take place.
That's fair. Real fast, got a comment here going to go to real quick from, I believe this one's on Facebook, from Nicole Brosfield, City Council candidate. Are we looking at better maintaining the North Hill fields, such as infield going to the outfield? It has a lip that pops a ball right into your face.
Yep, and I appreciate that question, and I appreciate that perspective. And if you can see, that is on the list for the North Hill softball complex, that field grading as well. Field grading combines right in with the Gophers that we were previously talking about, but we are aware it's an issue and needs attention too.
That's fair. And then another one from her too. So in that 20 years, when this comes to the end of that sunset period, does it mean that it will just go fully back to property taxes?
No.
Okay.
No.
That's perfect.
It means there's that opportunity to, but that
would have to go before city council, you said, right?
The reallocation would have to.
Okay.
The cap comes off, but that is not the intention.
That's fair. I got you with that. Then one other one. Under your guys, this is from Christopher in the comments. Under your leadership, how can you accomplish these tasks, or could you even, without the increase?
We can accomplish them. It is just dragged out on a lot longer period of time.
Fair.
They all need to get done. It then becomes a list of us recommending our priorities to the board. It's just going to take a lot longer to get them all completed.
That's fair.
for sure.
No, that makes sense on that note. And then I guess kind of a little follow-up, and this is just a general thing I've heard a lot that people have, I think I heard it on Monday night, in fact. Yep. And is there any, people like to say that there's a possibility that this could be a backdoor way for you guys to get the actual complex that you wanted last year for?
Right.
Is there any intention of that?
No, I mean, can I tell you that the Park District is never building a field house? I can't say that.
That's fair.
But our intention is to focus in on this maintenance list and get these projects done.
That's fair. Especially, and I guess, 10 years from now, even say no one knows what's going to happen.
Right.
Maybe you get your list completed and then all of a sudden you have some more maneuverability for some things. And you could look at some different options at that point.
Right, absolutely. And if you look at our long-term goals and plans, that field house is on there. So I could never say that's never going to happen.
Yeah.
I can tell you what our intention is, and these things need that attention.
Yep. And again, that's coming off of the sales tax, which there's a lot of, back and forth on if that's the right method. A lot of people say it's the more fair method because it gets spread out over a lot more broad of a community versus property taxes, which are a lot more honed in on one person. But on the flip side, you're going to get people that say, hey, because of this sales tax, it can more harshly affect someone that, or disproportionately affect someone that's of low income kind of thing. Right. But how it does that sales tax spread itself across the board? Because a lot of this comes from people that aren't even living in Minot.
Correct. And that when the economic impact conversation comes into play. So with a lot of our facilities, including but not limited to the Roosevelt Park Zoo, Mesa Arena, Corbett Field, the Shields Complex, these facilities are bringing in tournaments. They're bringing in people from outside our community that are using our facilities. Then they're shopping at our stores. They're eating at the restaurants. They're staying at hotels. And we love the fact that we can roll out the red carpet for them.
Sure.
Currently, how we are set up, we serve way beyond just the city limits of Minot, but the Minot Park District is primarily funded on property owners in Minot.
That's fair.
By looking at the sales tax, we're broadening our tax base, and when people come here and are doing their shopping and eating at restaurants and staying at those hotels, those dollars are going to come back into the facilities. That is the reason they're coming here and creating that economic impact.
Fair.
And I think one important note, too, is this is just a proposal. We're bringing it to the voters. Our job as the Minot Park District is to provide facts of why this plan is being proposed.
Yep.
Beyond that, we can't ask for anything. We can just give you the facts. But yeah, I think that economic impact is a huge part of this conversation.
That's an on economic kind of point of view. I have another question here in the comments from Isaiah Keller, another city council candidate. Has anyone discussed the possibility of accessing the Magic Fund for potential remodel or repairs for the auditorium? Or is that outside of the park board's wheelhouse?
That is, I believe that's something that we would have to bring to the city council and go through that route. I think once upon a time that was discussed. It has not been discussed as of late.
Fair. That's reasonable. So in theory, it's possible, but it would require a couple extra steps of having to go with city council.
Yeah, Minot Park District Board would have no control over that fund. I believe that would have to go to proposal to the council.
Fair. That makes sense, though. That is something that the city council has to be able to, or has to divvy out themselves kind of thing.
Correct.
That's fair. Well, I think I have one other fun one for you here. Here we go. So by my, correct me if I'm wrong here, the sales tax, it prevents any property taxes to be raised on property tax owners. Is that correct?
It puts that cap on it from our general fund, yes.
From the park district.
Yes, exactly.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. So you guys would be capped at the current, or if it passes, you would be capped at the mill level that you'd be at until 20 years at that stage. Yep.
Yes.
And of course, there's always the chance it could go down further from there too.
Yes, absolutely.
No, that's awesome. I love it. What then? We'll kind of go to, what would you guys like to see come from the sale outside of your capital improvements? What would you like to see the results of, the big picture results of this be?
Man.
Or are the capital improvements kind of that big
picture? That maintenance items for sure. But I think for us, it's just being able to provide the quality of facilities, parks, and trails that we believe our community deserves and our surrounding communities deserve. I grew up in a small town, so I went to the larger city 20 miles away to do, play softball, play in the tournaments, do, do your grocery run, all the things. I think that's an important part of what we do at the Minot Park District. And, Jared is from here, lives here. I have chosen to make this my home. So not only beyond our professional careers, I want Minot to thrive. I have an almost senior, and, they talk about where they want to go to college and all the things. And what makes her want to move back to Minot when she, hopefully gets her degree or whatever she decides she wants to do in this world.
Exactly.
And I think that's for recruiting employees as well, is what do we put on the brochure when we want to recruit employees for our bigger companies? I think we lived in a world once where you went where the job was.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that job is still not an important part of that conversation, but people have options.
Yep.
What makes them want to come here?
Exactly.
And quality of life has to be a part of that conversation.
100%.
For sure. Yeah, I did the same thing 20 years ago. I decided to move back from Arizona to Minot, again, because a great place to raise a family, good schools, and we want to continue that for our community, and we want people to choose Minot to make their life and raise their kids and stay here, and that's one of the big reasons.
Because normally you see it the other way around. People move from here to Arizona.
Back
to the weather. But no, you guys make a great point, because if you can't attract people here, not just attract them to come, but convince them to stay in
Retain
that regard.
them,
Yes, if they can't afford to live here and make a life here, then I mean, especially for someone at that age, what's if you can go get your Minot State's fantastic, but it doesn't have everything. You can't expect it to. So
Right.
if you want to go get a degree in a field that's not offered here, and you go to Fargo for NDSU, just a great example. And what really is going to separate someone from wanting to stay there if the cost of living is effectively the same to Minot at that point, especially someone in their early 20s at that stage.
For sure.
And I think you guys are doing a great job at it. And one thing I want to touch on too before we go, and I wanted to at the beginning, but I forgot, there's a new, really awesome walking path kind of little park to the west of town.
The outdoor rec area?
Yes.
Yes.
And I think that place is fantastic. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Because was it last year or 2 years ago that it opened up?
So I think we're almost on 4 years, but 2 years of phases.
Okay, fair.
So that project was made possible through a couple different grants, but we worked with the Recreational Trails Program. HEST was a big part of that, getting that completed. But yeah, that was an area that was a state land that we purchased in 2015 and put those trails on it. And it's great because it's about 3 minutes from Minot.
Yep.
But when you get out there, you feel like you're in a different,
You're on the prairie.
Exactly.
Yep.
And it's refreshing. It's a great outlet. And, I appreciate you bringing that up because, we talk a lot about facilities when it comes to maintenance, but this half-cent sales tax gives opportunities for so many more things, such as that.
Exactly.
So,
and I've been out there a couple times, and it, like you said, it's a complete departure from town. The way it takes you around. There's a couple different paths and trails options that it has, and it's if anyone hasn't been out there, highly recommend it this summer. It is I think it's one of the coolest parks in Minot outside of like Oak Park, but everyone's been to Oak Park.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
Well, on that note, we always love to leave our guests with a little time. If you guys have anything you want to end with, final thoughts, anything like that, Elly?
Yeah, just one other, exciting project, not really in relation to the half cent, but is the new playground going in at the Shields Complex.
That's exciting.
It is all accessible, it is all inclusive, and it's poured in place. And it's not something we currently have in our Minot Park system.
Really?
Yes. So it's been on the list for a very long time, and there's the Minot Area Community Foundation and Minot Junior Golf and the Garrison Diversion Recreation Program are making that a possibility for us. So it's really, really exciting, high visibility area. So that will be going in. We're going to get through our bigger softball tournaments. Construction start late July with hopefully ribbon cutting in, we're hoping probably late August, September.
Sometime in
this
the summer
fall.
kind of time. Yeah, that's awesome. That's what is going to make that playground stand out from anything we already have?
Everything.
It's going to be a very large, spacious playground. Again, the pour-in-place surfacing, it makes it it's accessible.
Awesome.
And that is a big factor for us. And it'll add so much more to that facility as well.
Yeah, and that poured in place is something that it's expensive. There's no doubt about it. But, wood chips classify as accessible.
Sure.
But I will tell you, when you talk to anybody with has experience with mobility limitations, just because it says accessible doesn't really mean it's accessible. So that's a big part of that. But the other item is our Corbett Field scoreboard.
Ooh.
That is, we just got it turned on yesterday.
Ooh.
Yeah, fully commissioned yesterday. Training on it, and so hopefully everything will be ready to go with the Region 6 tournament that starts, and then we roll into state high school baseball.
Okay.
So again, it's a very, very large video board, and to me it looks great.
That's awesome.
Very, very happy we have it.
And yes, and that's in thanks to large part to the Northern Ring Bottling here in Minot making that possible. So I guess for my point, to wrap it up, even when we're talking about the maintenance items and talking about these new components to the Park District, these things are all made possible by amazing community sponsors and partners that invest in the quality of life of Minot and see the big picture of what we're trying to accomplish for our community.
No, that's perfect. Jared, any final thoughts? Anything you want to end on?
No, it's
we covered a lot.
It's been a busy spring, because it was trying to decide if it was winter or spring. Well, I think we're spring transitioning to summer. Our staff is really busy trying to get everything open and ready for the public. So again, I always want to thank our staff.
For sure.
They're the ones that make things happen.
Yeah.
And they've done another great job getting things ready, and we're set for a busy season again.
I'm sure you guys are ramping up summer staffing at this point, getting a lot of part-time stuff filled at this stage.
Sure.
Oh yeah, that's going to be a busy summer in that alone. I know we got busy days going on now, so I appreciate you guys coming on. I love the conversation. And June 9th. Make sure you're out to vote. There's a lot that's going to be on the ballot. Park Board half-cent sales tax is going to be one of the biggest things that's going to be talked about at that point. Make sure you check out the Dakotan, follow us along. We'll be doing some exit polling that day, so hopefully we'll have an idea of results before it gets over. But with that, we're going to go to a quick commercial break here, and we'll be right back in, and stick around.
In the demanding world of oil and gas, precision, safety, and efficiency are non-negotiable. Unmanned operator drone services revolutionizes how you monitor, inspect, and manage your operations. With cutting-edge technology and expert operators, we deliver real-time data, detailed reports, and actionable insights for our valuable clients. Why risk the safety of your team or waste precious time? Our drones access even the most challenging areas with ease, reducing downtime and enhancing safety across your sites. We take the guesswork out of your projects by offering LiDAR, mapping, and inspection services so that your projects stay safe, on budget, and on time. Unmanned operator drone services, where technology meets safety, precision, and efficiency. Contact us today to elevate your operations. Yes, pun intended.
Haha, we're back. I made it. I hit the right button. I'm back. Jonathan's here. Hi, Jonathan.
Hey,
we're in the wrong seats. This is weird. I did. I wanted to throw everyone off. I wanted to put us in the opposite seats. So thanks everyone for sticking around. We're going to do a little bit of wrap up here. Thank you again to Elly and Jared for stopping by. Great conversation. Those guys are extremely knowledgeable with what they're doing at the Park District.
Sounded like it.
I love it. It was. You did a great job producing, helping feed me comments. I can't read the screen. Yeah. I only had YouTube pulled up today and everyone commenting on Facebook today.
Can you give me the mouse?
Of course, yes. That's true. Yeah, that's true. I can't see unless they're on YouTube. I'll get them on YouTube today. But so, Jonathan, how have you been?
Oh, we had a shout out for Elly and Jared.
Shout out. Oh, we missed it.
Elly and Jared, so proud of you. I'm very excited to support you and vote yes. You gonna vote yes, Kyler?
I think I'm leaning that way at this stage. I'm not opposed to it. The one thing is the 20-year sunset thing, but also it goes back to, it's like a multifaceted approach that it's going to go back to. So I think I'm largely in favor of it. What about you, Jonathan?
Yeah, I don't know how I'm voting on anything right now.
It's fair. We got time.
Tricked you to that one.
You did. Hey, it's okay. You want to keep going on that route?
I probably won't know how I'm voting until the day of.
That's true. I won't for a lot.
I gotta. It's been a while since I've been on, so if anybody has a connection to Celsius, get us sponsors. We don't need money. We just need free drinks.
This is true. That's all we really ask for. I don't care about. We love doing this. It's fun, but sometimes we need a little boost in the morning.
Yeah,
and
exactly. Celsius would be a great sponsor.
Well, I love
getting free advertising.
I love.
Now, Ghost doesn't belong. If Celsius gives the advertising spot, there'd be no more Ghost.
Well, of course not. I wouldn't disagree with that.
You
but
can only drink orange.
I know there's a few. There's better. There's other ones too, but there's a couple that aren't good. Like
The special edition one that wasn't terrible.
I don't like the pineapple one. I tried that one. Anyways, we love Celsius. Hit us up, Celsius.
Dude, sounds good.
What do you got for me, Jonathan?
Well, there's some breaking news coming out of North Dakota Monitor.
Is there?
Yeah. So they got a new photographer.
Oh.
Go to North Dakota Monitor and you find a story about rural grocers. We should just put it on our site.
We'll probably do that. Yeah.
I was gonna get that figured out.
I can.
Kyler's a professional photographer. Nobody knows that, but he's actually a professional photographer.
I can now add professional freelance photographer to my resume. Yes,
Quite an entrepreneur over there.
Gosh, that's me. Like I've said before, just a master of side quests. If there's anything I can get a chance to do, I will take it up. And
I want to know one of the most I'm just gonna interrupt because I haven't been on, so I got more words than you. You want to know one of the most frustrating things?
What's that?
Eyeglasses.
Yeah.
The whole this annoys me. Obviously, there's a personal experience that I had. This just annoys me like crazy. So I went and I reached out to my optometrist. Now I don't ever get eye exams. I've had the same prescription since like 2015.
So you were little, Jonathan.
Actually, since like 2011, and then I was getting headaches in 2016, and so I was like, well, maybe I should update my prescription. I did it, same thing. I'm like, okay, well, a waste of money. So then last year, I was like, I want to get contacts, and I sported those for a little bit, but they were over magnified. Like seriously, I would look at my feet; they would look huge. It was stupid. Like, what in the world? This is so weird. And so I went to the eye doctor. Yesterday, I was like, hey, or I called him up. I'm like, hey, I want to copy my prescription because I ordered new glasses and they were over magnified again. And it's like, I don't know what's wrong with me. I have problems here. They're like, no, we don't have HIPAA compliant email, so you're gonna have to stop by. I'm like, you guys are expensive and you can't afford the $10 add-on, whatever it is, to get HIPAA compliant email. Okay, all right.
You had to swing in.
So I stopped by. And I pick up my prescription, and I'm like, okay, so I want to order contacts. And when I talked with the doctor before, he said that he would work with me because try to get the ones that fit the best and that work the best. No, I get it. That was last year. I got frustrated by the experience. I'm just like, not gonna worry about it. Won't wear contacts that much anyway, so just move on.
You were moving on from it.
But in summer, I like to wear contacts more because I do more stuff outside.
Sure.
And sometimes glasses can get hit and they're broke.
It's true.
So then you find out, and like I know this in the back of my mind, but they're like, yeah, well, if you want to get if you want to do that, like play around and figure out, you're gonna have to do another eye exam.
So you gotta go get your eyes checked again?
I said, okay, I'm good.
You're all set. So you're rocking the glasses this year.
Well, I'm going to go online and I'll do my own testing.
There you go.
Because you can get contacts from any place.
That's true.
But it's such a frustrating experience. Why does it got to be that way? And then
it's unnecessary.
Well, legally we have to do this. And it's like...
It's liability stuff, I'm sure.
No.
Something along those lines.
My microphone is on.
It's not on?
No. So let's go like this. I know one of these are on. So one of these are on. So we'll go with 2 microphones. Is that better? Hopefully it's better. And the sad part is I told one of the most fascinating stories that I've ever said in my life without a microphone on. Kyle, are you going to be all right over there?
So, yeah, glasses.
I feel like I'm doing a press conference.
Did you see that there's new census estimates for Minot's population that came out.
Okay, how does that? I'm sure this is going to create
We're at
some conversation.
The estimate for the year
We're at like 45,000 now.
47,308.
Oh, so we went up
by 31 residents from the 2024 estimate.
Say the amount again.
47,308 residents for the year ended July 1st, 2025.
Where's the source from?
The Minot Daily News, which they are getting it from the Census Department, the way it looks.
Oh, interesting.
Yes.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
Because there's been some numbers floating around saying that we're under 47,000.
Yeah, that's true. So, I mean, these are all estimates, but according to
That's the thing. You only get semi-accurate, which the census, even when it's done, is still an estimate.
Yes, it's never a perfect number there.
Miranda, you're saying you didn't hear my eyeglass story? You mean I have to tell this story again?
It's okay. You can tell it.
I'm not telling that story again.
What happened? Did you turn the mic off when you left?
Well, I turned one off, so that wouldn't be an echo.
You turned the wrong one off. You messed up.
You should change it around. I thought I did it right, though. It's pretty
That's
confident.
generally how it works with us. We think we do it right, and then it didn't.
Okay, Lisa's like, we heard the story. We get it. We'll move on.
Okay. This also
This is a big deal with the census stuff.
This is a legitimate thing, and because you see numbers all over the place, and I think this, if you're going to take a number, I think you have to go with the census's estimate, right? I mean, if you don't trust that number, then that's, I mean, a different argument we can make at that stage, which is probably fair along its own lines, but
you're right about that.
47,308 residents for the year ended in July 1st, 2025, which is up 31 residents from the previous year. Minot saw its population drop during the post-pandemic years, followed 2020 official census of 48,387. It fell all the way down to 47,297 in the 23 estimates, and then it was at 47,277 in 2024. So we're seeing, this is actually, according to the census, the first increase we've seen since 2020. And 31 people isn't a massive increase, but it's the first time it hasn't gone down since the 2020 census.
Yeah, no, but still, at the end of the day, we're just staying the same. I mean, 31.
We're
if it was the other way, we wouldn't be creating this big story about how Minot was
plus or minus 100 either way. I don't think it's really like either way. We're
down from the, maybe not peak, but when we were more 48,000,
Yeah, like a for sure 48 kind of thing.
Right, yeah. And it'd be really interesting. I want to see Minot exceed like 50K.
Yeah, like a legitimate 50K. Like we're sitting at a solid like 51 kind of thing.
Yeah, something happened a few years ago, and we don't need to get into it. People know the story better than I do. But yeah, with us getting into the 50K area and becoming the metropolis or whatever that they call it, metropolitan area or whatever.
That's the thing. But that if you still include the whole metro area of Burlington and Surrey, we still are in there. But on that note, this has Surrey's estimate at 1,450, which is up from 1,432 last year. And Burlington's 25 estimate is at 1,350, which is up about 20 people. So we're seeing some growth in the region, and also more proof that I think we just need to build more houses in the region. But that's a whole different. Well, I guess we can have it. I don't know, but
All right. As we're coming to a close, this is a big story. What's going on? 5,000. All right, Isaiah Keller, City Council candidate. 5,000 population growth in 5 years. That's what we want to say. 1,000 a year goals
for sure.
Well, hey, with the projects that are coming to town,
there's a chance for that.
We'll probably see it, but it'll depend on if they stay. Big question for you, though. The breaking news came out yesterday. I think it was yesterday.
Breaking news.
Yeah, we're just using everything as breaking news. What's going on Monday? City council meeting.
You know what they're talking about?
Yeah, I do. That's why I was asking you.
It's Sunset Boulevard time again.
It's Sunset Boulevard.
It's finally coming back after being a big agenda item back in, I think, like January or something. There was a lot of discussion, and it's finally coming back up to City Council to discuss now. And yeah, what do you expect from Monday's City Council meeting?
Monday's City Council meeting. I don't know. I don't know what to expect. It's on the agenda, obviously, so there's going to be discussion. There was some push for there to be public comment. I think that would be a great thing. It'd be great to hear what the public has to say on this controversial issue that has, once again, come into Minot's area. I don't think we're going to see like funding approval.
Sure.
Do you view it as already being approved and done deal?
No, I think that still has to be done. I could see votes swinging one way or the other, especially if estimates come back higher or something along those lines. I could definitely see it, flip-flopping one way or the other in that regard. It could already be, it could be ready to roll effectively, but I so much of this is just what's going to happen next.
Yeah.
Regardless of what they specifically decide to do, it's the next steps. Because I think the one thing that's probably going to almost assuredly happen is this thing probably gets annexed into the city of Minot.
Well, yeah, but do you think right now it will? You think based off of the conversation going on right now, it's going to get annexed in?
That's going to be tough. It's a good question, and I think it's leaning towards that, but at the same time, I guess with that same point, if it does end up being, annexed in, then we almost have to do something with it. Mm-hmm. And whether that's paving it or not, I mean, it just feels like it's going to be a lot that gets left kind of to the wayside at that stage, potentially. Or, it could really get itself all figured out. Yeah. And Tuesday, we're going to have fun to talk about breaking that down and what happened. I know there's a lot of posts going around trying to invite as many people as possible to come on and talk. So I look forward to seeing who all shows up Monday night at City Council. I think it'll be have a good potential for some good conversation and good discussion. And I'm looking forward to the outcome of it. And here's another thing: if anything even comes and is fully decided on Monday.
Yeah,
because it could be like this is a preliminary thing.
I don't think anything will be fully decided Monday.
Not at this stage.
No, I'm almost on the board on the side that is probably going to go to new council. It's not going to, and I really don't think that Sunset Boulevard is going to get paved. Mm-hmm. If you want to know my personal feelings on this, but I think the question that I have on this is, I don't know. I'm not saying that we need to be using public money for private projects. Okay, I understand that there's been some and this isn't a private project, but people almost try to make it that way because of the history of the land. Go ahead.
So I was looking at a couple posts on this. I was trying to look for it on the City of Minot's page, and I couldn't find it. So I'm looking at Alderman Rob Fuller's page, and he reposted it, and he has a big emboldened update at the top. It says the developer has changed his mind and will develop one lot at a time. This item has been pulled from the council agenda.
There you go.
You've been heard, Minot. So there we go, I guess.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So that is breaking news.
Yeah. That's wild.
So the developer is going to develop one lot at a time. I wonder what that means for the road then.
Are we just going to, I guess when they start developing, they'll end up doing it themselves?
Eventually. I guess if you started on the west side of you wouldn't need to pave it right away.
That's true.
And so then it'd be near the end of the development that it would actually become paved.
Yeah. And it's definitely, I wasn't ready for that.
But that would mean that it would get annexed in.
It would have to at that stage, right? Yeah.
Well, for services, it seems like city services.
You'd have to at that point. Yeah. Well, that's interesting. Crazy stuff there. I wasn't.
Yeah, for sure. That's pretty. I don't know if that's exciting or not, but that's pretty interesting.
It is very. Yeah. I mean, what was going to be a very exciting city council meeting now, I don't know.
You know what? Yeah. It's going to be another hour city council meeting. Like, come on, guys, we need some 5-hour city council meetings again. Good stuff, man.
We're not too far away
coming down to a couple of big things, though.
Yeah.
What's going on May 28th? What you doing?
Well, I'm going to be at a debate that we're hosting. It's going to be It's
you going to moderate?
I don't know yet.
Wow,
I think
might moderate.
I might, but I think we're kind of right in. I don't care if you don't want me to say it. Tell me not. But we're in discussions of trying to get some people to get that whole process settled of who the moderator is going to be.
Yeah, we had to change a couple things.
Yep, had some scheduling. There was a good thought that this was going to happen, and it did. So there's some scheduling conflicts that came up with who we were originally thinking of doing it, and so now we've got a couple names we're floating around trying to see if they're interested and able, and if they are, we'll go that route, and if not, guess what? I'll be up there moderating with you, Jonathan. It'll be a blast.
I don't even have to be up there.
That'd be fun.
The other big thing that's coming up is, you mentioned already, but June 9th, something's going on.
Primary election day. Got to get out and vote. going to have the mayor race, going to have the park board sales tax that Elly and Jared did a great job of discussing with us. Going to have city council, and we're going to have a lot of district races too, which like District 3 going to be a big primary race coming up there.
Yeah.
So make sure you get out and vote. I don't think there's going to be any primary debates or anything, but don't be shocked if towards the end of summer you start hearing about some possible district level debates. We'll see how that plays out, but got a lot of time before now and then.
Of course, we did interviews with all the city council candidates.
Yes.
We'll be setting up some with mayor candidates if they want to do them. And we got a couple other.
You've had a lot of district level things.
Had a lot of district levels, and I know we have a couple more of those coming up. So exciting stuff, man.
It is. You've been busy. It's all the things happening.
All the things, bro.
We're going to be
All
back
the
on
things.
Tuesday at 9.
Yeah. Is it going to be just you?
I don't know. You tell
are you
me.
having on?
Who are you going to have on to break down
Bruh.
city council?
Dude, no, I'm over here now. I received a demotion, man.
This is going to be like the only time you see us flip-flopped like this, I think. Don't expect it again.
We'll see what Kyler tells me.
Also, I just told him sit over there. I'm staying right here.
Honestly, it's all good fun.
It is.
There's
No,
feelings involved.
we enjoy this. This is our like hobby at this. This is like the hour we can get to just have a blast. And
So, yeah.
yes, to wrap it up, thank you everyone for watching. We appreciate you all. This has been another edition of Minot Talk. Make sure you check us out every Tuesday and every Thursday at 9 a.m. For Jonathan Starr, I'm Kyler Collom. Thanks you all, and have a great night. Oh, he's going to stop me.
Yeah, no, it was a fantastic close, but I just think it's interesting how when the chairs flip, automatically the close goes over there.
Yeah, that's...
You know what I mean?
This
It was.
yeah.
We both knew that's what was supposed to happen without you.
It was just a very passive, this is the
We
close.
just-
This is the closer chair,
yeah. So you can have your ending line again if you want it.
Thank you all for watching, and have a great day and a great weekend.